Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I had some good news about Doctor Who. Now, Doctor Who has been struggling the last few years. Now, I'm not a big expert, I know that. I saw some episodes of Tom Baker Years repeated when I was a kid. I saw the first season with Chris Eccleston, and I did like Doctor Who. And I was planning to get back into it. And I heard about Jodie Whittaker, and I was like, not bothered, because female Doctor, who cares? But then there are all these other issues with the mythology and the timeless, was it Timeless Child was the name of that episode? And a lot of issues that people are having with the direction of the show, the politics of the show, politics being in the show, or taking a centre seat rather than just sort of being peripheral, like in most science fiction, where it's analogy rather than direct sort of partisanship or whatever. So there's a lot of issues in that, and I sort of was like, it's not looking good. But I heard something on YouTube recently that apparently J. Michael Straczynski has put in a pitch, and they basically said they are looking at him. They're sort of going through a process. They're looking at people. If those don't pan out, they'll consider him. The assumption is they won't work with anyone who isn't British. So their strike against him there is American. But and I'm not a huge Babylon 5 fan. Back in the day, because of tribalism, and I like Star Trek, so of course I didn't like Babylon 5. I would trash it and say it was poor man's Deep Space Nine. I felt that at the time. I watched the pilot episode and I was not impressed. I never watched the rest of the series. But I did eventually get a clue, and I started watching other shows other than Star Trek at some point, and I just started going through them all one by one. I got to Babylon 5, and I was disappointed that this whole 5-year plan was sort of abandoned at the end of the 4th year because they thought they were being cancelled, and then the 5th year is just sort of a thrown together year where they just threw whatever in they had left over on the side that sort of didn't get sorted out in the first 4 years. But the first 4 years were pretty good. Not my favourite show, but obviously, Mr. Straczynski has some talent. He has some integrity so far as sticking to his story and building a large structure and everything. And I think he could do Doctor Who some good, because Doctor Who is a bit of a mess at the moment. They went in and rebooted basically the mythology and changed everything, and the fan base is now split just like all the other fan bases, all tribalism again. Everyone's like on one side or the other. You're either a sexist because you don't like the new show because it's got a female Doctor Who and they think it's about that, or the other people don't want to see the politics in it, and other people are like, it always had politics. I'm like, yes, science fiction always has, but it's always been analogy, not direct criticism, blah, blah, blah. There's all this circulating and just, going round and round and round, and I feel some hope that with Chibnall gone, because with Chibnall leaving, the difference between Star Trek and Doctor Who and that is Star Trek was run for like 18 years by Rick Berman. He did a great job. Star Trek's been run for the last... oh God, is it really that long? Oh my God, the last 12 years by J.J. Abrams and Alex Kurtzman, and they haven't done a good job. And they can just keep going and going and going. There's no sign of them ending anytime soon because they have enough support to stay where they are, even though they're splitting the fan base and, the numbers have, decreased, and the merchandising and licensing have all declined. All these things are going bad. They've got enough support to keep plugging on and keep justifying their existence. And eventually we're going to get to the point where there's more new Trek than there is original Star Trek. And I'm afraid it's going to get to a point where people can't see what good Star Trek is anymore. And it's going to be a lost cause. Doctor Who, fortunately, every 3 years, because of British tradition or something, they seem to replace everyone. So you get new people in, so there's a chance for change. So I'm feeling much more optimistic about Doctor Who than I am Star Trek and Star Wars. They seem to be... Star Wars does have the Favloni... Is it Favloni? No, I think that's some sort of imaginary food I just made up. Favreau and... I've forgotten the other guy's name. But, there's a separate team working at Lucasfilm from, like, Disney. And they sort of have conflicting ideologies at the moment, but The Mandalorian is sort of winning out. And they seem to be affecting Disney. But either way, there's politics, and those people can be in charge forever. Whereas Doctor Who, every few years, basically, they seem to change. And there is hope there that they can reverse things or stabilise things. Hopefully we won't get someone brought in who just continues on what Chibnall was doing, which was very divisive. And I don't think very entertaining from what I've seen, but I do need to watch more of the show to be absolutely sure and to be really clear about why. I've listened to other people's opinions, I've looked at clips and scenes, and it does seem to be most of the criticism does seem valid, and it's not about the sex of Jodie Whittaker. For a few people it is, but for the most part it seems to be genuine criticism. But I'm over 5 minutes. I'm going to go. I just wanted to talk about this for a minute because I felt very optimistic that even if he doesn't get in, they're at least considering people like him, and that they will actually have some new fresh blood in, just like I said, stabilise Doctor Who before it's too late. I do think there's hope for Doctor Who. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Feel free to educate me on any points I got wrong about Doctor Who. I am going to watch all the episodes that I have, which is not every single episode. There's so many, and catch up and sort it out and give myself a bit of an education. But even with COVID, that takes time. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye.